Okay, so this is the Nifty 50 by which you guys see this is chart for Nifty 50 index. Okay, so we try to see where we can take the trades. Okay, so we got two setups. I would say like one particular setup that is for the moving averages. Okay, so as you guys can see, this particular line that you guys can see where I'm putting the pointer, so there's a dash for black and the white in the background, and you guys can see this is the green candle and the red candle. Okay, and the next thing by which we can see is there is a yellow line and the blue line. Okay, so once the candle closes below the yellow line, okay, we assume, or rather we would say, like there is higher probability that the market will go down. Okay, now as you can see, the candle that closed below the yellow and the blue line, okay, that's crossover at 9:25 p.m. and then we plan our next trade, which will be at 9:30. So we can see that the candle that closed at this start open at 24,728, and it did have a lowest point that is at 24,672. So by which what we can see is the market did fall down. So let's try to see how much is the amount that we can see, the points that we could have been collected. Okay, so here as per the spot chart, what I can see is the market did drop down for nearly about 6 bars, that for 30 minutes. That's I would say nearly 70-80 points on the spot chart. Okay, and then apart from this, probably I might be wrong because my mathematics is not so good. Okay, and right after that, what we can see over here at 9:40 p.m. We have another candle that is the evening star, that's morning star, or like an inverted hammer. And over here the next one, 9:45, we can see a what do you say, another candle being forming up. And then there's another candle that is over here at 10:05, by which you guys can see the timer, 10:05 in the morning on 6th June 2025. It tried to close the candle. The candle tried to close above the EMA 20 and the EMA 9. So EMA 20 is a yellow line and the EMA 9 is a blue color line, and by which as you guys can see that there was a slight retracement at 10:10 in the morning. After 5 minutes, that's right after 10:05 candle being closed, we can see that there's slight retracement. And then here we can see that 10:10 in the morning, people they started buying. Okay, so after that, people, if they are not sure whether the trade is good enough or not to enter, then they can still wait for another 5 minutes, and then they can see a rally being taken. Okay, so this is just been done on 5 minutes chart. Okay, so right after that, we can see from 10 o'clock in the morning, we have a good rally from 10:15 in the morning right till, I would say, the closing at 3:20 and 3:25, by which we guys can see that's on Friday. 3:25 p.m. is the last candle by which we can see. Let's try to zoom in. Okay, so you guys can see over here we got 10:15, a perfect entry. Or maybe people who do follow the price action, they ideally would start making the entries at 9:50, and they would have their stop loss something like 26,410, 24,641. That is the point of stop loss by where they can go ahead and have an exit. Okay, but I did looking at the positive side of the market, where the market did have a good news been coming up that the Indian government or the RBI is going to slash down the rate of interest for the banking purpose. Probably that would have been the reason why the market did have a good rally. Just to confirm, that was in 5 minutes time frame. But if in case we have been looking out for the same, the downfall in market was at 9:20, so 9:30. So here in the 1 minute chart, what we can see is EMA 20 did pretty well, decent movement when it comes to a shorter time frame. Like 9:28, we had a good movement, and right till I would say 10 o'clock in the morning, that's 10:05, 10:06, and scalpers, they usually what do is they make an entry at 10 to 2 and 5 minutes to take an exit. But if in case there's someone who would like to take a rally on the big ride onto this, they simply make an entry at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning for the upside of the market, and that's where they keep having good rally. uh, let's see about in the 5 minutes, we already seen the 5 minutes, but let's try to see. Okay, so we got this EMA 9 and 20. It really works well. Let's try to see understand this the downside of the market in the, early in the morning, and try to see like what happens in somewhere like after 10:15 or 10:20 in the morning. Okay, let's try to see where the first moving average that crossed down below the price. This side by which you guys can see on the screen is the Nifty 50 index. This is a chart option. Okay, so here the expiration for this trade is for 12 June 2025, and it got expiry plus 4 days. That's only by working days and not by the calendar days. Okay, so if in case we've been looking at a spot chart right now, the spot chart is at 25,000. Okay, so ideally when I've been looking at it, like ideally in the morning it should be somewhere around like 25,150. Let me see what was the spot chart. Okay, spot chart, yeah, 24, hold on, let me see, 24,700 somewhere around. Let's try to see 24,700. Hell yeah, so that's very close. Okay, let's try to see what the chart says over here. Okay, in the morning, like somewhere around like 10 o'clock in the 9:20 and 9:25, we had this price, the chart getting close to closing candle where the market did fall from EMA 20 over here. Let's try to see. Okay, what was the total price for the entry. Let's try to see. So here the point of entry for people who have been looking at for market to fall down at 9:20, as discussed earlier. This was the strike rate by which we see 24,700 PE. Was it 147 rupees and 13 paisa 13 cents. Okay, had a highest mug been for like 194, but ideally we were simply going to capture almost like from 150 till, even if you capture like 180, that's 30 points. Okay, so that is like 30 points times 35, that's somewhere around like roughly, let's try to do the mathematics over here. Okay, so that's like 30 points, so 30 points, that's 75, that's one standard lot for Nifty 50. Got 30 points. Hold on, was that was 30 points, 50 points, hold on, let me see. So we were at 150, and yeah, I would say like 180 at the stop loss for the target. Okay, 180, so that's like 30 points. So ideally we would usually go ahead and make an entry for with 4 lot, that's like 9,000 bucks right on the stop. Okay, and our stop loss is somewhere around like when I take an entry at 150, usually keep a stop loss for 10-15 points that is just below the candles below. That's 133. So I think that's a fair win-to-win situation for any of the traders. Okay, that is the one-sided trade that in the morning, and let's try to see what happens in the upside rally of the market. Okay, so 9:30 or 9 yeah, 9:30 or 10:30. No, that was somewhere on like 10:30 in the morning. The market did have a rally. Let's try to see. Okay, now by which we're going to look at the upper side, the second trade of the day. I would say that usually there are 3 trades on this particular chart. Okay, that's what you see. Let's try to see if in case what we could have captured for the call side of the market, by which we have a prediction for the market to go up. That's the more probability. Let's try to see by what we can see. What do you say? Where's the chart? Index chart. Okay, index over here. Let's try to see what is the the spot chart say. At the money by which we see over here, it's somewhere around as per minute or 5 or 2 minutes. By what we see is like 24,750 it is, or 759, or maybe like 24,780, by which we see as a spot chart for us, like 24,700. Let's try to see 24,700 over here. I can see 24,800. Last traded price is 300 at the time of closing. That's 65% hike. Let's try to see about what is the last traded price as per our setup, and try to see about how we can see what could happen, probably the winning rate. It's just a learning lesson. Let's try to see, okay? So 10:05 as we discussed earlier, and then 10:25, 10:30, okay? At 10:15 we have an entry point right here, okay? And then 177, like as we discussed, like the as soon as the candle does close, the color doesn't matter for the candle, okay? Probably for most of people it might, but for us it's just a color the candle. But over here, what we're going to look over here is like whether the candle has been crossing right above the moving averages, okay, or moving down the moving averages, and that's when you make an entry, okay. That's one simple way. Whereas we have another way to make an entry. I mean, this is one thing, okay. Over here, what you can see is like 10:20, 10:15. The candle did try to move up. The same thing happened over here at 10:05. The market had a reversal, and then at 10:05 we had a slight confirmation at 10:05, 10:15 in the morning, and then yeah, good opportunity to enter at 10:20. The market price range, last traded price was at close at 160, but if in case I had applied it, I would have planned my trade somewhere on like at the higher price of the previous candle. The highest, but what you can see is like you can see 183 rupees and 4 cents or 4 paisa. Okay, I put in the order for what do you say, a limit order, and then I put it like or maybe 180 rupees to be sure, and then we can see a good rally, okay. So 180, and then we close somewhere around like 290, 180 and 290. Let's try to see what's the difference. 180 and 290, 180 and 290, 290 minus 130. Hold on, let me see how much is it. 180, and that's what you're planning for. Okay, I didn't just try to see. 180, that's 110 points, okay. That's for 110 points, that's the difference. And let's try to see what we get it. Okay, 200 times less 180 is 110 points collected times like 75, that's 8250 per lot, and then we're going to go for a multiple of 2, that's 33,000. That's what you can see. There's high probability to make like 20-30%. I would say I don't know what's the percentage, my mathematics not so good, but hell yeah, the kind of setup that we have been looking at for really works, okay. And I mean, that's very simple. You make the money nearly about it. You just need to have your capital, wait for a system to wait. Please do not consider this to be the last resort for anyone to go ahead and trade it. This is just for your knowledge base, like how this it is. I mean, it completely depends on you guys, like how you guys have been trained or how you guys have been looking at it. But this is just our point of view about how we look at the market, just to make an entry. Rest you guys can discuss with your financial advisors before making an entry. Do not look into our trades before making any entry, okay. I'll see you guys in.